That's right, leave one shoulder free. So your other leg is on his lat. That's right. That's excellent.
Okay, guys, one side for one whole round. All we're doing is adding the arm bar in. Okay, so we mentioned this. One of the things we can do to make it easier again, if you're having trouble lifting your hips, is to pull his posture down and move back just a little bit. Okay, move back. Now, his shoulder is closer to my knee. I don't have to lift my hips as high. So I'm gonna do this side. So you guys come over to this side. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. My left collar tie, right hand goes to the shoulder. Could it go into the arm? Absolutely. Absolutely. I should be able to cut this angle with my leg though, so I don't necessarily need to. And when I push the shoulder back, my thigh comes forward. That kind of does this action here on its own. So when I trap the shoulder and I come into this high guard, from there what I'm going to do next is I'm going to shift this knee, the high knee, down, and I'm going to reach under and get a control on this arm that I'm going to arm bar now. My right hand goes to the head and my left hacks down. So look, I unlock my legs and I scissor my feet. Now my right leg is going to come, my left leg is going to come up high. Look, this is the cutting leg. This controls his posture. There's downward pressure with my left heel. I push the head and we're into our arm bar. The leg that is over his head is the low leg. And there's a reason for it. It fits that space better. And now we're into our arm bar. And don't worry about just locking the arm bar for now. Just get to this position. Don't hurt his elbow. Just, you got lots of reps. Get to the arm bar on one side only. We're going to do one side only. Okay? Collar tie. Breaking posture. Shrimp back a bit if you want. Raise your guard up a bit if you want. Push the shoulder, cut the elbow. This is where we trap. Now, this left thigh, guys, a few of you were coming over top of this shoulder. I'm behind his shoulder on the opposite side. I'm in front of this shoulder on this near side. Shift your legs, okay? Scissor and power cut. Establish a cross grip, post on the head, bring your right leg under your left leg, and we're into that arm bar position. Okay, and I did not lift my hips up off the floor at all. Bottom of my hips, the back of my hips were on the floor the whole time. Okay, should be an easy one for a few of you fellows that have trouble hipping up and inverting like that. We don't need to do that in this case, so it'll make it an easy transition for you guys to get into arm bars without some athletic movement. Okay, ready? United Fighter. Go ahead. Okay, so we're inside that guard. We have our shoulder trapped. Okay, we have an issue here. We have a problem. He's in, he has this shoulder trapped. So I said in order to start getting my right elbow back into a position where I have it safe, I have to start digging in. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look for a front clinch. Okay, the arm that's trapped is gonna go into an underhook. And I'm just gonna build up my base. And I'm gonna slide forward. Now my shoulder's free. I'm gonna put my head to the floor. My left knee, that's the knee that's on the opposite side of my head, is gonna parry his hips to the right. My left knee parries his hips towards the cage. I back step with my right leg here, up into the air, nice and high, all the way up. I insert my right knee inside his thigh, and now I bring my hips towards the back of his right knee. Okay, what we're gonna do here now, sometimes they'll start to follow us. We can block the near side of his head. So I have his right hip, his left temple. From here, I'm gonna bring my right hip into the back of his right knee. It's very important that we don't let him come down onto his side here. So what we're doing is stacking him to the far side. And when we drive here, he's more than likely going to want to turn this way and square back up. So we're using our underhook and our overhook that's at his head, an overclasp, to start dealing with that. From this position, I'm going to turn my right hip into his knee. And I'm keeping him on his left side, or towards his left. Once this is in a position where we can reach for it and we've blocked his head and we've stabilized his position and he's not turning and following us, we're going to take a big step over this leg. I go up and over. Don't drop down yet. We're going to parry and back step. My butterfly hook comes back. My right butterfly hook comes back. And you can put a lot more weight on him than that. But if you're being nice, just, he's already in an uncomfortable position. Now I have a scarf hold underhook. So we're going to hip in, being sure that your left leg is in a position where my balance isn't being broken back. So I like to put my weight onto my right elbow. And as we step over with our left hip, we're driving his elbow towards his right temple. This isolates his arm. You do this first. Then you take your right hip out as you insert your left leg over the head. If I do that backwards, I'm probably not going to isolate his elbow properly. So my right hip is in first, then the left hip opens up the elbow. Now, my left leg goes over and I slide back to his hip, and we have our straight elbow lock here. Your left hand is grabbing your shin on the outside of your knee. We can also go straight elbow lock on this arm as well. So you have both options. But once you pass, we're just going to go straight elbow lock pass. Let's look at the pass again. Turn this way. All right, he's trapping my shoulder. All right. My left hand goes over the head, and we start stacking and building base. Drive your shoulder free. Left leg parries, right leg back steps and wedges into the hip. Keep them stacked up. Let go of the head and overclasp until you settle your position. Drive your right hip and cross face into the back of his knee. And I'm doing my best to keep my weight off of him so it's not like super heavy and crushing him, okay? Once this is a position that's solidified, your left hand can let go of the head and you can open up the lock if you need to. My right leg loads, my left leg steps over. Before you drop down, so he can turn to his right here again. So before you let that happen, so I'm driving him onto his left, my right foot back steps. I get my right butterfly hook over his right leg. My right toes have to hook. My right instep hooks over his leg to free my right leg so I'm not getting caught in half guard. Drive the hip. I like to put pressure under my elbow. Drive the left leg over. Pull the right hip back to give yourself the right distance off of his arm. If I'm too close, I can't get to his wrist. Grab that thigh. Finish that, and if this is here, you can take that too, okay? It's a little compound submission for you there if you want it, okay? Inside guard stacking pass. That's part of your second stripe curriculum, okay? Ready? United Fighter. Go ahead, guys.